Hello there, and welcome to our version 2 of the Collabor8 online platform. If you've been a customer of ours for some time, back prior to March of 2022, we had a software platform which we call the EQMS. We were starting to take customers, particularly domiciliary care and residential services customers, onto Collabor8 version 1. This video is Collabor8 version 2, which I believe is much improved from version 1. Before I start, you would have received an email. This is my email and password via an automated service. So pop those in the email and password field and log in, and we'll be onto the home page. But before we do that, I would ask that if you are a customer and you're having difficulty with passwords, reset my password would be the best option rather than phoning Betal. This is an automated service and we're not able to easily deal with passwords. And quite simply, reset my password, pop in your email, and it'll send you instructions directly to your inbox. So then, let's go back and let's log in to the home screen. Now, this is a screen under development, and please ignore these projects and folders. What we're intending to do is have help videos on there like this video, and people can refer to the video as they navigate around the site. So basically we have a menu on the left hand side, and we have two folders, but really they are three because there are two folders in this master documents and hub folders alone. The Betal site, if I click that, lists all of your bespoke documentation. And what I mean by bespoke is the documentation with the name of your service. It will appear at the top of every procedure, policy and form. By the way, the Betal demo site is your site. It's your bespoke company site, but that is the name of this site that I am using for demonstration purposes today. And if I can just collapse down the Betal site, and I'll show you how to collapse and expand in a second. The master site is the master documents, the original templates for Cared4, organized into folders such as key lines of inquiry, COVID documents. I think GDPR may be in that folder, possibly. And then we have our updates folder, and I'm going to go into these in more detail in a few minutes. So let's just start with the Betal demo folder or your own bespoke folder, which is what it will be. So that if you want to expand anything, it's here, this plus icon to the left of the folder icon. So I'm going to click on the plus icon and we get all of our subfolders listed down here. Now, this is your procedures, policies and forms. And I'm just going to take a little bit of time, and if this is a video, by all means, and it'll be on YouTube, fast forward it, if this is just quite self-explanatory. Procedures and forms indexes, this is to me what drives this Cared4 system in many ways. It tells you the contents of all of these folders, and without these to guide you as to what the contents are, it makes it quite challenging. There is a search facility which we will go into again in a few minutes, but the folders, the indexes drive what is in the Cared4 system, inform you what's there. So if we were to open up, say, the contents of index, forms, files, policies and books, you'll see that it appears in your browser as a Word document, and I'm using the Opera browser at the moment. It doesn't really matter, it'll be in the download section of your browser, and I'll click that document open, and at the top we'll have more than likely an enable editing. It just allows you to view the document a little bit easier. And this is our forms here, and our policies index here. So let's just shut that document, if I may. I'm going to skip out the introduction. It's basically about what the document system is. But let's go now into the procedures. This folder 2.0, procedures are the nuts and bolts of how you're going to carry out a task. That's it. So management arrangements, what you'll see again is on this right hand side window, it will be populated with all of the documents which are in that folder. And management arrangements 2.1, I can click a document again, health and safety. I'm not going to open this one this time, but you can see that it's downloaded into the save folder, which also means that you can print it and you can also make changes to documents if you wanted to. Changes, as far as I'm concerned, only regard both specific practices of that organisation, not in terms of regulation or best practice, which is contained within the Cared4 documents. Let's skip on now. People management is our HR documents, recruitment, checking the qualifications, staff induction, service delivery. We have about 20 or so documents in here. One or two highlights would be restraint, crisis management, risk management. Let me go into personal care, and we will have things like continence, hygiene, helping people up in the morning, mobility, etc. Practical care tasks. And all of these documents reflect in detail what your service is about. I have taken time before, and maybe I'll just take 2 minutes to open up one document if I can after I get into continuous improvement, which is here. And this document here is going to list all of the quality statements around the CQC's new regulation. I'm not going to go into it. I'll quickly open it, and you'll see that this is all about regulation. Let me just leave that document now, and I'm going to look at MAO2. I believe it's the accident incident procedure, and quickly just give you a whistle-stop tour of a Cared4 document. Cared4 is an inter-reference-based system, by the way. So what you will find is that this is a procedure. There are policies, and it tells you what this is about. This is for reporting accidents. The document lists the aims and values, minimise and prevent accidents, make sure staff are clearly aware of the process of reporting accidents. Now then, this is over the page. These are the sections over the page. Reporting an accident, incident that occurs in a service user's home. Yeah. And what I think is critical, and often what is the difference with Cared4, is the reference documents. So as you read through the procedure and the policy occurs in policies too, it will excuse me, tell you the tools you need to use for the job. And if somebody has an accident, it's going to be using the accident form. Log that in a care plan. Maybe it's a falls issue. And as you read through, and I'm not going to do this, you will see these references in the text. In other words, this is your professional responsibility. If the accident involves a fall, use this form, falls monitoring. Now we're going to dovetail this, and I'm going to show you the forms. And I just want you to remember one form, which is so easy to remember, is where an accident or incident has been reported to the home care coordinator, they're responsible for completing the accident incident form. It's the very first form in the Cared4 system. Moving on, I did say the documents were bespoke, and at the top of the page will be the name of your service if you are a current customer. when we update documents, that is what this grid generally uh, um, involves changes. So for instance, if we were to totally rewrite our document, it would go to be a version 2, or if we were to just revise that document, it will go to a version 1 or a version 2 or a version 3, a new section or paragraph. And it would always tell you the number of pages in the document, which is handy if you're printing that out. And this here is an automatic updating field. A lot of inspectors would be saying, and it's a very flimsy way of determining an updated document. Certainly not what I would call an updated document, but we do have the month and year continually updating within the Cared4 system. And obviously this video is now being created in late 2022. So let me leave that document, if I may. And let us go now to the form section, because we've looked at the procedures. So let's look at the forms now. Clicking on the forms. A lot of forms, so it just takes a few seconds to populate there. And there we have it. We read in that MAO1 procedure, accident incident near miss reporting, the accident incident form. But we have actually, I believe, around about 160 forms within the Cared4 system, nearly. And some highlights would be the care plan, DC 54, statement of purpose, which is DC 63, the contract, terms and conditions of home care service, etc. Numerous forms, HR forms, medication forms, risk assessments, everything that you need to record the activity of your care service. It's not just forms, it's what goes into them that matters. And that is what will give you the security that you're running your care service properly, and also how you're evidencing how the service being provided when you're inspected. So files, we say, look at a file, and people get confused by this, but files, if I open that up, basically what we're saying here is these are the files that you set up within your office with this reference, and then locate any forms pertinent to recruitment, for instance. So an application form that's in the Cared4 system, a contract, etc. You, not the contract, sorry, maybe the shortlisting form, person specification, all in the Cared4 system will go in a recruitment folder, and it would be referenced as that. And I'm not going to say any more than that about files. Policies, just one thing about policies, we have over 100 policies. I think it's now 112 as we're making this video, and everything in your policies addresses regulation. I will have to make a separate video on quality statements, but you will see, for instance, I think in let me just pull up one document where quality statements will definitely appear, which would be in medication. So if I look at medication, we're instantly saying, look, the CQC's quality statement measurements are in here, and you will see them at the back of this document. My thoughts on the Cared4 system are, this is quality statements here. As I say, a separate video. My thoughts on Cared4, yeah. Simplicity, but immense detail. That is what you're purchasing. You're not purchasing policies or procedures. Yes, in one sense, but it's the content that is critical. Because as soon as your service is asked to account for its practices and you don't have the correct policies in place, you will run into difficulties with regulators, particularly the Care Quality Commission. There are more forms in here, but I'm not going to open that. And books are really an extension of forms. And I'm going to quickly open that folder, and here we have books, but I'm not going to go into any of the books at all. And what I am going to do now is collapse this folder and go into two other folders which are contained in here, which is, let me just expand this out. And sorry, it's master documents. I'm in the wrong folder. The master documents and updates folder. Now, I'm not going to be over laborious with folder B. So this is folder A, this is folder B, and this is folder C. Not laborious with explaining this, but this is the same structure as what is on the bespoke site in Cared4. There are no names of service, obviously, on the documents. But why we have this as well is to organise things around key lines of inquiry, which will tie in with the quality statements, which is what CQC are looking at. COVID-19 documents. So if I click on that, there are a number of COVID-19 documents in the Cared4 system, and they are listed up here as well. So let me look at the final folder, and I don't want to make this a long video. We're now on around about just over a quarter of an hour. Cared4 updates, which is something which is we're really delighted that we're doing monthly updates. Every update that has been carried out, we're currently updating actually at the time of this video, and every update is in the folder, the Cared4 folder, that has occurred this year. And there's a lot more than this because these are the new documents basically that we've created. There is additional material. And what's great about the Cared4 system is that everything's on the front end now. On the old platform, you had to go into the master system, which was this B folder, as I call it. And look, we didn't have an updates folder. So everything is just so easily convenient and at your fingertips to locate. So let me just, before I finish, there are two other things, and I'm only going to cover one. There is a search facility, and there is a logging facility, but that would come on a separate video. And the logging facility really says, look, you have a number of staff. If you're a current customer, or if you're looking at the Cared4 system, you might say, well, how do I know what my staff have read? And there is a facility to do that. I'm not going to cover that in this video. I'm going to cover just looking at some searches. For instance, risk would be a good search. And this is what this facility is here. This little window, click on the spyglass icon and it will search for everything risk, including risk management procedure or risk assessments. So it will take every single thing. Now, there are multiple documents because it is searching over all of the folders that are sitting on this platform at the moment. And we could do safeguarding. Would be a good choice. So let me just come up, and we have a policy on safeguarding, which is QP61. There's a children and safeguarding. This is a form, record of actions taken following a safeguarding incident. And by the way, and I should have said it at the beginning of the video, QP, quality policy, DC, Cared4 form, and all of the other documents are procedures. So this is an MA, it's a procedure. And you'll see that if you take time to explore the Cared4 system, that is what you will find. But now we're nearly running up to 20 minutes on this video, and I think that's quite long enough really to give either people looking at the Cared4 system or our customers some idea of the simplicity of looking around the Cared4 documentation. I'm just going to go back over if I can, and so we're back over now to Betal demo site, etc. And there are other areas I could have touched on as well. In the Betal demo site, for instance, I didn't touch on the general data protection regulation, but there's so much more in Cared4. and these are all your GDPR documents, for instance. A lot going on. As I say, this is so simple. It's folders and subfolders, not dissimilar on the C drive of your computer, as I said at the beginning of the video. And the detail, though, in the documents is enormous, and it needs to be. And if I can finish on this note, and I was speaking to our managing director, and basically, having an up-to-date, accurate document system is going to prove to be more and more valuable. We have customers who take a choice. They'll subscribe for a short period of time. Our initial contact is 24 months, and then move on, take a sabbatical, whatever. But what's coming now within the CQC, Care Quality Commission's quality statements, is more evidence in terms of continual submission of up-to-date documents via their online platform. In other words, whether it's our document system or somebody else's, you've got to have accurate documentation which describes the policy or procedural approach of your service for whatever is requested. Safeguarding, duty of candour, medication, handling of complaints, etc. These are just the basic top of the tree documents, but there are many, many more that they'll be asking for. And that is the critical thing, having an up-to-date document system that works for you and that, keeps you on side. It's not just regulators. I get customers saying, "Oh, could I have your staff grievance or staff discipline referenced policy? I can't see it, for instance, in the Cared4 system." So we provide that. But they're being asked to justify how they've been dealing with somebody in terms of a staffing HR issue. So we get some of that very, very occasionally. But I'm going to stop the video here now, and hopefully that was helpful. If you're just exploring, our contact details are on the website. I'm delighted to speak to you and describe further about the Cared4 system. So thank you for your time.